As accusations of sexual harassment and inappropriate behavior dominate the headlines, it's certainly having an impact on a United States Senate race in Alabama. Candidate Roy Moore under fire for accusations of sexually inappropriate behavior. But not everybody is saying that they believe these accusations. Matter of fact, we caught up with one Vietnam veteran who said, "No way, Judge Moore, he's a good guy." Allison Gormley has a full story. Allison, what do you got for us?
Honorable, impressive, and principled. That's how New Jersey lawyer and Army veteran Bill Spadea would describe Alabama Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore. The two met when they were just 24 years old, serving in Vietnam. After multiple allegations of sexual misconduct came out about Moore, Bill said he felt a responsibility to describe the veteran he knows. Some of the accusers say Moore was in his 30s when he pursued them as teens. Moore, who is 70 years old, denies all of the claims. In a statement Staley made to Moore's campaign last week is a narrative he says is a testament to Moore's character. When Staley and Moore were in Vietnam, a fellow soldier asked to meet them out. Roy and Bill just thought it was for a beer, but it turns out it was a brothel.
Roy was resolute. I mean, immediately he said to me, I'm leaving. Anybody who stays on their own, I'm leaving. And that's all I really had to hear.
Bill said that he is telling the story for the first time in 45 years because it is so contrary to what's being reported. He thought that because he knew Moore close to a time when some of the alleged incidents occurred, he could provide context.
He was a man of impeccable integrity at that time as I knew him. And I sincerely doubt that his character fundamentally and dramatically changed in the time that it took for him to finish his military obligation and attend law school, essentially.
As for the motives of the accusers, Bill said it could be political. He also added that if he were an Alabama resident, he would in fact vote for Moore. I'm Allison Gormley reporting for Chasing News.
Thanks, Allison. All right, let's bring back the A-plus panel to break this down. So Bill Staley, here's a guy, served his country, served with Roy Moore. We've had these conversations about the history of people, and the question is, does character, does history, does that long relationship you have with somebody count for anything? Laura, I don't think you think it does.
I think it can. But I think that as another adult man saying, I was in the military with someone decades ago and I've known him to be a good guy, is the height of arrogance when it comes to vouching for that person. How on earth would this guy know how Roy Moore treats women? Give me a 25-year-old who worked in close quarters with Roy Moore for many years alone, and she said he didn't do anything. That's at least relevant.
Here's a guy that's had nearly 4 decades of public service, both as a Democrat and a Republican. Never a complaint before now. Why is it so easy to dismiss a character witness, if you will, from someone's history and to just take at face value some of these accusers less than credible, at least in my opinion?
I'm inclined to lean towards believing the accusers in situations like this because I think the pain that they experience in reliving this stuff is just too big for them to jump to judgment and make this some political lynch mob, can we call it? But I do think that somebody's 40 years matters.
So, Misty, I've known some people who've known Roy Moore and vouched for him and interacted in politics. It was hard for me to believe that any of this was true. I think if you are defending someone who's been accused, how do you undo these accusations? Accusations are page 1. The defense and the exoneration, if it happens, page 30.
Well, look, in a court of law, if you're talking about a criminal case, there's due process, there's the presumption of innocence. If you're talking about a civil case, you've got discovery, you've got depositions, you've got the exchange of evidence before a jury makes a decision. But that's not where we are here. We're in the media, so everybody's going to make their own decision based on what's public.
How much weight on one of the accusers who has already been turned down and rebuffed on other accusations to other pastors?
If you're in a court, then certainly credibility counts. But I'll tell you about that. So I've taken hundreds of depositions. I watched an interview with Roy Moore. I watched him say, I never would pursue a relationship with an underage person unless their mother said it was all right. And you know what? It was at that moment that I knew, because if you're taking a deposition and you're accusing someone of deplorable conduct,
he didn't say the word. He didn't say the word underage. I saw that same interview. He didn't say that. He said a young woman without the mother's permission. So there's a big difference there between criminal activity and a pursuit of someone. We'll see how this plays out in the polls. All right, got to leave it there.